Hello everyone, welcome to the Automotive Sports Network's coverage of Week 11 of 12 of 2013 Season 1 of the iRacing.com Prototype and GT Challenge Fix Series from the Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. We have 17 cars getting ready to go for today's race as they are on the pace lap going into turn number 1 of this 3.4 mile layout. Let's go through the starting grid. On pole, Ricardo Orozco in car number 3 alongside him. Josh Mertz in car number 8, a Brazilian and American on the front row. Francois Bouillon and Travis Shebler in row 2. Row 3 has Thomas Merrill and Zach Chenoweth. Row 4, Mickey Miller and Ricky Heinen. So the first 8 cars are Prototype 2. The final prototype is Lonnie Lasater in car 17 and Scott Osberg, your GT1 pole sitter. Row 6 has Daniel Wozniewski and David Weiss. John King and Zach Ripsick, your GT2 pole sitter, with Bob Bieber and Terry Nightingale Jr. in row 8. And row 9, all by himself, has William Picos in car number 7. As they round the International Horseshoe, we will go through the classes of Le Mans style racing here on the Automotive Sports Network. The typical high-tech top class, the Prototype 1, the Le Mans Prototype 1 class, are premier high-tech Le Mans prototypes, purpose-built racing cars purely for speed. 475 to 575 horsepower engines. They can be diesel, hybrid, or a combination. Top speed, 200 miles an hour plus 900 kilograms. The Prototype 2 cars are high-tech, low-cost alternatives. They're basically the same as the P1 cars, just production-based engines. They are purpose-built as well. 450 to 500 horsepower, 900 kilograms with their top speed, about 170 to 180 miles an hour. The GT1 category, moderately modified street cars, they have to be production-based, and they are 450 to 500 horsepower, 1,145 kilograms, with their top speed being 180 miles an hour. In the GT2 category, identical to the GT1, just a slower engine, 450 horsepower, 1,205 kilograms, which gives them a top speed of about 150 to 160 miles an hour. Now in the iRacing.com Prototype and GT Championship, you can completely wipe out the Prototype 1 category. We have the Prototype 2 as the top class that are fighting for overall victories. GT1 and GT2 support those two classes. So as they go through the bus stop here, getting their tires warmed up, those are your classes, your starting grid, all taken care of around the 3.5 mile Daytona International Speedway road course. So we have 9 prototypes and 4 cars of each GT class for 25 minutes around this tough Daytona circuit. It may look simple because of the oval, but let me tell you, it is not in the slightest. The oval is incredibly difficult in these prototypes, and you can get an incredible draft, almost like the DRS in Formula 1. You open that DRS, you're flying by your opponent. In this car, you get behind him, you stick behind him, you are gone once you get close enough. So the first racing Ford Mustang safety car is going to pull off, and the field will be in the hands of Ricardo Orozco. And when the pace car pulls off, he can go wherever he likes. He's on the pedal, and we are green here at Daytona. The prototypes roaring past start finish and going into turn number 1. We're going back to GT1. Osberg leads them. They are green, GT1. Going back to GT2, single file, as now Ripsick leads these drivers. So all 3 classes are going into the hairpin for the first time. Orozco leads Mertz. In the 3rd place, looks like Thomas Merrill with Francois Bouillon. So those are your top 4 in prototypes. Into the International Horseshoe, which these 2 hairpins are incredibly tight and incredibly technical. They're really hard to get right. As back out on to the oval circuit, they're going to make these HPD, or in the case of Mertz, a Dodge engine, scream at the top of its lungs around the 33-degree banking of the Daytona International Speedway. As we're going back here, GT1, Osberg leads. Rupzig leads in GT2, back up to the prototype lead. Orozco leads him into the bus stop for the first time in anger. As now, Mertz is still second, so these two prototypes are trying to pull away from the rest of the field. So these two guys are going to try and slipstream each other and effectively perform a two-car tandem back, the NASCAR boys would say, to pull away from this field, coming to the end of lap number 1 here at Daytona. It's Orozco leading with Mertz in the second place. And here comes Mertz to the inside, trying to take the fight to him, but Orozco uses the outside groove to sneak around and retain the lead. As Bullion and Merrill are trying to catch, here's Bieber and Nightingale trying to have a nice battle. They are having a nice battle, I should say, for second place in the GT2 category. Side by side in the 4 GTs. They're going to have to break a lot earlier than the prototypes. And on the outside is Bieber trying to keep the... Oh, they're still side by side. I thought he cleared him. No, he didn't. No, they're still side by side. Now he clears him, so Nightingale gets by him to retain second in GT2. He runs a little bit wide coming off the corner, but he will retain the position in the GT2 class. Up to GT1, nothing much going on. Osberg leads, and back to the prototype lead. On the back straightaway they are, with Orozco and Mertz. And here's GT2 again, with Bieber and Nightingale. They're not done yet, as Bieber wants to take this lead away. Nightingale on the dirt. Let's see where Bieber's going to go with this. Will he take the inside? He tried. And out of the road course, Nightingale holds it. Here's back to P2 lead. Mertz's car's sparking. Coming down to the line at the end of lap 2. He's on the outside. They're side by side. Coming to the line, at the line. Too close to call. As Mertz on the outside. Will he back off early? Looks like he is. He's going to let Orozco take the lead. He held the lead. I believe that credited him, the timing and scoring got him credited with that lap. Orozco blocks. Mertz goes to the inside, side by side through the hairpin. Who's going to get it? They're still side by side. Orozco nearly cleared him. Who's going to budge in the kink? You can go side by side, but it's very, very difficult to try. Orozco holds it. Mertz looks to the outside. He peeks, tries the over-under maybe. Through the corner, the International Horseshoe, no move. So it's really difficult to try a move. Back in third and fourth in prototypes, Merrill and Bullion. Back to GT2, Bieber got by Nightingale. GT1, lead change. It looks like Wozniacki got by Osberg, although I might have gotten my numbers mixed up. Those two cars look identical. The 10 and the 9 GT1 cars, side by side for P2. Lead changes all over the track. Mertz is alongside Orozco, and Orozco holds it through the bus stop as he's trying to hold the lead. So Ricardo Orozco, the Brazilian, facing Josh Mertz, and GT1 battling still. So battles all over the track. Who said Prototype 2 was the only class to have a battle? We've had lead changes in GT1 and GT2 already in this race. Osberg to the outside of Weiss, and he's ducking to the inside. And who is going to get the lead going into the bus stop? It's going to be Osberg in car number 2, that very pretty red Corvette C6R. Into P2, and Mertz is through to the lead, as it looks like Orozco ran it wide a bit going into the hairpin here. So coming out of the hairpin, Mertz and Orozco, these two are the fastest prototypes here, but don't count out Merrill or Bullion, because if these two mess up, those two will hop right into their positions. It's into the International Horseshoe. Mertz leads here on lap number 4, as Orozco looks like he might be saving his tires a bit, as the Michelins fall off a lot. The Pirellis fall off even worse, as Mertz is on Pirellis. Back to GT2 and GT1, no changes. So back to P2 here in just a moment. Cycling through the cars that are running. And Orozco trying to catch Mertz in car 8, as this has been the talk of the entire race so far. It sounds like I'm going to be repeating myself, but this is the battle, as Orozco got a huge run through the bus stop. He's slipstreaming. I told you it was like the DRS, It's like he opened the DRS and used his KERS and he's flying away, but obviously he didn't because there's no DRS or KERS on the HPD. But he's side by side with him, getting the side draft off of the Red Bull HPD. And at the line, who's going to lead this lap? Mertz does. So these cars are still battling. On the outside is Orozco. He takes it way deeper than Mertz does. Still side by side, but he ran a little bit wide. Mertz is squirming under acceleration. And he's trying to pull away. GT2 hasn't changed. Back to prototypes. Orozco doesn't try the inside like Mertz did. He's a bit too far back. As Mertz trying to pull away. Like I've said every time he comes out of a corner, but it's really important, obviously, to get a bit of ground over your rival, because they can just get it right back up. As Orozco late braked into that corner to try and gain some time. A couple car lengths between him and Mertz. Back into third and fourth, and prototypes hasn't changed. Prototype field really hasn't changed much aside from the lead, as everyone is equally spaced and just having their own races. And just trying to get some seat time here at Daytona before we head to Road Atlanta in a couple of days' time. Orozco now looks to the inside. Mertz leaves plenty of space for him as they're side by side heading towards the bus stop chicane, as Mertz will budge Orozco through to the lead, as it's a really tricky section of track to try and go side by side in, and Mertz didn't want to try and jeopardize both of their races this early on. Now Orozco will lead, as they flip-flop the lead several times already in the opening laps here at Daytona. Let's see if Mertz can get a draft off car number 3 to try and get the lead back. He's trying, not at the line, but he can try and get it here. Going down into turn number 1, he's on the outside. Will he budge? He's trying, no, he's side by side. They're side by side through the kink, that's incredible. As kicking up dust is Orozco. Mertz not budging, side by side in the first hairpin. Who's going to get the lead? It's Mertz, as Orozco ran it a bit wide. He didn't want to get taken out, as that's a smart move, as that was an incredible battle. And look at third and fourth in prototypes, just quickly on the back bumper of Orozco, or you could say wing, because I don't think these cars have a bumper. Well, it looks like they do, but it's not a bumper compared to a NASCAR car. Anyway, I'm getting onto a tangent. Let's get back to the action at hand, as Mertz trying to pull away, as the Pirelli tires might be gone on his HPD, as he is squirming under acceleration. GT2 hasn't changed. GT1, as there's John King in the 12 car. Looks like he might have an issue on his car, but we'll keep an eye on his car, as he's fourth in GT1. Just trying to run away, Scott Osberg. So GT1 is pretty close, seeing as how they're a bit slower, as Orozco now behind Mertz. He's going to try and slipstream past, just like Mertz has done the past several laps, as once again they're going to do the switcheroo at the start-finish line, as Orozco now looks under the yellow line, which is perfectly legal in multi-class sports car racing, but not legal in NASCAR, as they nearly make contact. Going down into turn number 1. Who's going to budge this time? It's Orozco. That is very interesting. Normally it'd be Mertz on the outside, but Orozco knew he probably couldn't get the pass done, or he learned from last lap when Mertz held the outside. And now Merrill is trying to take the fight to Orozco. Nearly hits him, locks him up. Looked like from the commentary box at least. And now they're going to go out of the hairpin, into the kink, into the International Horseshoe, as these 4 cars are under a blanket. So now GT2 traffic will play in the hands of the leaders, as that looks like it's William Picos, the first car to be lapped in GT2. As Orozco gets by, so does Merrill and Bullion. So these GT2 cars, it's a really good thing to pass them on the oval section, because otherwise it'd be incredibly difficult. So the top 4 in prototypes close together. We're going to pass another GT2 car going down into the bus stop. I believe that is Nightingale, and Mertz clears him, as Merrill doesn't. Orozco cleared him, Merrill did not, and that is Nightingale in car number 4, and Bullion clears him as well. Now they're going to come up on Bob Bieber in car number 6. Mertz clears him fine, and trying to pull away with sparks flying from that Dodge HPD. So crossing the line, your leader is Josh Mertz in the Red Bull Dodge prototype. And then it's Orozco trying to take the fight. Merrill in P3. And that is Bieber moving out of the way for Bouillon. GT1 leaving the road course. So we should be catching the remainder of the GT2 field shortly. As that is Rupzik, number 1 in GT2. As Mertz barreling down on him, trying to take the fight to the GT2 cars, or rather have the GT2 cars take the fight to Orozco as he wants to keep him behind. Twitching is Merrill in car 11, as this track is incredibly bumpy here at Daytona, at least in the road course, as the oval is smooth as silk. It's beautiful camera in turn 2. Turns 1 and 2 on the oval, I should say. From the cockpit of Mertz's car. As Orozco got a nice run through the bus stop as he's trying to get Mertz. Mertz's last lap was a 134.664. Orozco's was a 135.747. Coming to start lap number 9. As into turn 1, Mertz has a nice buffer over Orozco as it looks like he's backing off as Merrill's behind him. GT1 just entering the hairpin. So we will be catching them shortly. As running it wide is the 8-car Mertz. As it looks like we have lost Merrill in car 11. So we're looking back here and trying to find him. I think he has crashed in car number 11. We will try and figure that out for you. So now Bouillon moves into the 3rd spot. And in 4th place now is Travis Shebler, 5th in prototypes. We have the very sleek black car number 13 of Zach Chenoweth. So Mertz pulling away from Orozco in car number 3, coming to finish lap number 9 here at Daytona. As GT1, relatively calm, nothing much happening in either of the GT classes. As these very gorgeous cars. See if we have a helmet cam. There's a nice camera on the bus stop. Beautiful camera. As we do have a helmet camera on Scott Osberg in car number 2. The very gorgeous red and black C6R. You hear the rumble of the Corvette engine. Back to prototypes. As Orozco trying to hunt down the Red Bull car of Mertz. As like stated earlier, Mertz had the lead yesterday here at Daytona. As he slowed up to avoid a GT2 competitor, another prototype crashed into him and ruined his race, as Mertz wasn't very happy about that. So, as he leads currently, he hopes that doesn't happen again. As it looks like we have 3 GT1 cars now. As the 2, the 10, and the 9, as the 12 has disappeared off timing and scoring. So we'll have to figure that out shortly. 2 4 GTs. Trying to catch it here. We have Rupzik, Bieber, Nightingale. So the 4 GTs are still in. So we have the GT1 cars. We have 3 of the 4. GT2, we have 4 of the 4. And it looks like we have about 7 of the 9 prototypes still running as we begin lap 11. Into the closing stages here at Daytona. It's Mertz trying to hold him off. Desperately trying to hold Orozco off. He knows he's not fast enough. As in qualifying, the pole for the Prototype Fix Series was a 1:31.9, and Mertz's was a 1:34.1 after a botched qualifying lap. He's only gotten to a 1:33.6. So you know he knows he's not the quickest car. So he wants to retain the lead as long as he can. So Bullion, if these two mess up, will be in the catbird seat. As Orozco slowly hunting down car number 8. As they round turn 1 and 2 at the famed Daytona International Speedway. Here on the Automotive Sports Network, the iRacing.com Prototype and GT Challenge Fix Series. At Daytona, it's week 11 of 12. Next week is Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. As through the bus stop, once again goes Mertzen Orozco. As the GT1 traffic will begin with Wisniewski, and then it's going to be Weiss and Scott Ostberg. So they will be a factor. As look at the run Orozco has in the Prototype at the line. Mertz holds it, beginning lap 12. Orozco wants this. He wants this win. He's not going to give it up. As now, Mertz has to run 100%. He was saving his tires. So is Orozco. Both saving their tires for the final dash. As now, through the kink and down into the International Horseshoe. This famed track has been the host of the 24 Hours of Daytona with the Daytona prototypes and all the assorted GT cars in the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. But next season, United Sports Car Racing will see these Prototype 2, albeit an updated version of the Prototype 2 cars, joining the ranks of the Daytona prototypes in the sole prototype class. Prototype Challenge and GT will be retained from the American Le Mans Series, as this series closely resembles those European Le Mans, American Le Mans, etc. First GT1 car, not a hassle. As really slow, was Weiss, as that has tightened up the two prototypes. As he ran off the road, and I don't know what he was doing, but he has figured out what he's doing. Now they're going to come up on Ostberg. Ostberg on lap number 12. So Mertz going to begin lap 13. Time ticking down. As Orozco flying on the outside. Can he make it stick? No, he runs it wide. As this is really the only good passing opportunity you can try at other places on the track. The oval's a really good place, but you have to get the pass cleared before the braking zone because the track's really, really bumpy, and you don't want to try and pass someone under braking. Battle in GT1 for second. And Weiss is battling Wisniewski for second in GT1. As this is for the final spot, or the second and third spots on the podium. These are the only 3 cars left in GT1, so they don't have to worry about falling off the podium. Is GT2. Looks like it hasn't changed. There's a nice gap between the 4 cars. So Orozco on the front straight, and Nightingale is in turns 3 and 4. So Mertz trying to continue to pull away, coming to lap 14. Time getting close to expiring. As the roar, the HPD, as Orozco has the run again, bottoming out on both of them. Around the outside goes Orozco, the Brazilian, trying to get the lead again. Side by side at the line, Mertz has got it. Starting lap 14. Not a lot of time left. Ford GT in the way. That holds the lead. He's using it as a pick. There's a GT1 and a GT2 car in the way. It's Bieber. Bieber was the pick. He gets out of the way. Now it's going to be Ostberg. Ostberg blinking his brake lights, letting the prototypes know, pass me, pass me, pass me. As they are through to battle this one out. As Orozco's not going to go down without a fight. He's going to push this thing to the death. Try and get by car number 8. As now, car 7, Picos. As both of them squirming under acceleration. First gear is not a friendly gear in the HPD. Very easy to get wheel spin, but that's the quick way. Mertz trying to get all the slipstream he can. He didn't know what the GT was doing. So now, down the backstretch, Orozco trying to get the slipstream as Bullion has passed Osberg. And that has negated all GT battles as the prototypes flew through. As time getting close to expiring, it's about 2 laps to go now here at Daytona for the Prototype and GT Challenged Fixed Series. As we're around 2 laps to go, if my math serves me correctly. Time should expire on the final lap, or coming to the next lap, as Orozco tries to take the lead. He's been trying all race long. Mertz has held it. They swapped the lead about 5 times at the start-finish line, and it changed in turn 1 and stayed that way for the rest of the lap. GT2 car, it is Nightingale. As Mertz slips around the outside, runs it wide, tries to claw the apex back, as Orozco nearly into the dirt. As now Bullion farther away from these 2 prototypes, just in case something happens. Around turns 1 and 2. Time getting close to expiring at Daytona. Holding the inside. It's pointless. Look at all that room. But you've got to be able to complete the pass before the braking zone because it's not very fun going through the bus stop side by side. It's close to impossible. As now, about a second separates Mertz and Orozco. This is the battle. As there's not going to be enough time to complete another lap. So this will be coming to the white flag. About 3 miles left to go at Daytona. It's going to be Mertz versus Orozco. Who has the fresher tires? Orozco dives it into turn 1, trying to hold it, trying to chew the gap away. Time is definitely going to expire on this lap. So this is the final lap at Daytona. GT2 hasn't changed. GT1 hasn't changed. It's all about the overall and Prototype 2 category wins between Josh Mertz and Ricardo Orozco. An American versus a Brazilian. Dodge versus Honda. Pirelli versus Michelin. So many battles to be won here at Daytona. That is Rupsick. GT2 car shouldn't be an issue for either of them. As Mertz clears him on the outside. Speed difference, no problem. As Rupsick slows down even to let the prototypes through the bus stop for the final time. If you think it's over just because of this, it's not. As we still have about 1.5 miles left to go. Back out onto the banking for the final time at the Daytona International Speedway. Orozco getting close. Getting into the slipstream of car number 8, the Red Bull Dodge Prototype. Will he be able to get there? Coming off of car number 4, it's not over yet. Here comes Orozco to the outside. Mertz throws a block. Coming to the line. It's going to be Orozco winning at Daytona. As Mertz tried to throw the block, tried to get the side draft, and tried to even rough him up, as he couldn't do it. And Orozco, Ricardo Orozco from Brazil, is your victor at Daytona in the iRacing.com Prototype and GT Challenged Fixed Series. As I'm shaking up here in the commentary box, what a race! What a race! What a finish! So let's go through the final results from Daytona. So here are the official Prototype 2 category results after the race here at Daytona. Your winner, Ricardo Orozco, in car number 3. over Josh Mertz in car number 8 by .013 of a second. Incredibly close margin here at Daytona. In third place, Francois Bouillon makes it 3 different flags on the podium here at Daytona for the Prototype 2 category. Travis Shebler, he finished in the 4th position. He stayed around that general area all race long. Zach Chenoweth started in the back of the prototype, stayed there, pushed his way to get a top 5. Ricky Heinen is in P6, Mickey Miller P7, Lonnie Lasater P8, and Thomas Merrill was up near the podium position but had a technical issue mid-race and had to retire. He finishes in 9th position in Prototype 2. GT1, Scott Osberg really was unchallenged. He had a battle in the middle of the race, but then drove away from the rest of the GT1 field. David Weiss and Daniel Wazinski had a nice battle mid-race. After Weiss went off the track, they finished 2nd and 3rd, completing the podium. John King crashed his Corvette, and he had to retire. In GT2, Zach Rubzik had the lead from the beginning, and he held it, and he would not be denied. Terry Nightingale Jr. had a nice battle with Bob Beaver for 2nd place, but Beaver dropped back. All 4 GT2 cars finished, but Beaver finished 4th. William Picos finished in 3rd. So those are your official results from the iRacing.com Prototype and GT Championship Fixed Race here at Daytona. This has been a presentation of the Automotive Sports Network, your source for motorsport. For everyone at ASN, I'm Josh Mertz. So long, everyone.